Good afternoon, boys and girls. We're on lesson 78, exponents and square roots. All right, so your objective for today is to read exponents. We're going to write a power as a whole number and an exponent. We're going to evaluate an exponential expression for a given value, and we're going to write a number in expanded notation using powers of 10, and find the square root of a perfect square. So this is a pretty hefty lesson. So be prepared. You have a lot of stuff to do today. Here's a math joke. What state has the most math teachers? And that's Massachusetts. Here's a vocab for today. See, we have a lot. Base is the lower number in an exponential expression. So the lower number is 5 right here. And evaluate is to find the value of an expression. So basically, it's when you evaluate something, you have to figure out what the end result is, what it's equal to. Exponent is the upper number in an exponential expression. So if you have 5 to the third power, this would be it. The 3 is the exponent. An exponential expression is an expression that indicates the base, that the base is to be used as a factor, the number of times shown by the exponent, excuse me. So 5 to the third power of 5 cubed, it's 5 times 5 times 5. A perfect square is the product when a whole number is multiplied by itself. A power is the value of an exponential expression, so that's this part right here. So whatever this is, that's the power. And then the square is a product of a number and itself. So 5 times 5 would be a square. Here's our new concept for today. Remember in our previous lessons, 5 plus 5 plus 5 can be marked as 3 times 5. Okay, now we can do the same thing for multiplication, which is 5 times 5 times 5 using exponents. Okay, so if we wanted to change this to exponents, we would use a little 3 with a 5. Okay, and that tells us how many times we're multiplying it. All right, this 3 is called an exponent, and that shows how many times we're multiplying this 5, which is our base number. Okay, so 5 to the third power of 5 cubed is 5 times 5 times 5, and that equals 125. Now we have special names for 2 exponent and the 3 exponent. When it's 3 to the second power, we call that 3 squared. Okay, imagine if we were we were finding the area of a square, right? The stuff in the middle would be 3 times 3, so that would be finding what's in the middle, which would be squared. All right. Now, just like the power up we just did, if it's 3 to the third power, it's also known as 3 cubed. All right. So if it's a third power, it's called cube. Second power is called squared. And then and that just means we're doing 3 times 3 times 3. So if we were doing a square and had multiple levels, that would be 3 cubed. Okay, and then whenever an exponent is higher than 3, we just say it's to the 4th power, to the 5th power, to the 6th power, whatever it is. That's how many times you're going to be multiplying this 3. So if it was 3 to the 4th power, it'd be 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Oops. Oh no. There you go. Here's example number 1. So write 3 cubed as a whole number. And so basically you're going to do 3 times 3 times 3. And then we find that it equals 27. All right. So we multiply the 3's 3 times. And 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 equals 27. Now, if 2n equals 6, what does n squared equal? All right, so, well, I know that 2 times 3 equals 6, so n equals 3. Now, if we do n squared, which is n to the second power, we do, that means it's n times n, or in this case, 3 times 3. So n squared, in this case, equals 9. All right. Now in example number 3, we show 4 powers of 10. So 10 to the first power, 10 to the second power, 10 to the third power, and 10 to the fourth power. So we're gonna evaluate each expression, meaning we're gonna write it out and find the answer. So if we do 10 to the first power, well, 10 by itself is 10, right? Now we do 10 to the second power, which is 10 times 10. 10 to the third power, which is 10 times 10 times 10, which is 1,000. And then 10 to the fourth power would be 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, which would be 10,000, which is that's what it is on the bottom. Example number 4, we're showing something called expanded notation here. Okay, and so what it is basically we're taking the first 2 digits, and we want to see, we take the first digit and it's 4 times how many ever zeros are on the bottom, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that would be 4 times 1 million. Okay, and then we take the 5 here and then it has 3 zeros, so we do 5 times 100,000. Okay, and so now that we have this, what we can do is we can take this 10 and we're going to replace that with an exponent. Okay, take the million and replace that with 10 times the exponent. And what you can see here, there's 3 6 zeros. So I'm going to use these 6 zeros, and that's going to be my new exponent. And that's how you do the expanded notation. 10 to the 6th power shows 3 with 6 zeros. Now, same thing, if you can guess here, we have 10 with 5 zeros. We would use a 5 exponent right here. Okay. Example number 5, a square has an area of 36 square centimeters. How long is each side? So if I know the inside of a square is 36 square centimeters, then I can tell what the outside is by putting 36 in the equals, and something times something equals 36. Now we know squares have the same sides, so it's 6 times 6 equals 36. Okay, and that's how you find each side. Okay, and that's what we, in example number 6, that's kind of what you're doing here in example number 6, is you're finding what times itself equals 100. Okay, and that's basically what we did here. So the square root of 100 is 10 because 10 times 10 equals 100. Now, we're going to compare these two numbers, and first what you need to do is the square root brackets go first. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to square this, square root that. With the square root of 9 is 3, and the square root of 16 is 4. Then we add them on this side. Now on this side, what you're going to do is you're going to add first. Okay, think of the brackets like parentheses, so you do that first on the inside. And then you do the square root. So 9 plus 16 equals 25. Then you're going to square root that. What times itself equals 25, and that's 5. So if we, oops, what happened here? Goodness gracious. All right, guys, there you go. So 5, and then we have here 3 plus 4 equals 7. So we find that this is less than this, right? Okay, here is our lesson practice A through O. You're probably going to have questions on all of these ones, and that's okay if you do. Just try your best and answer all these questions with the best you can. Some of them you might have trouble answering, honestly. Just write your questions on the back, all right? So with with letter A, make sure you do all that is asking you to do, okay? See, it says here draw, so you're gonna have to draw something. Letter B, 2 cubed equals what number? So you gotta figure out what 2 cubed is, which is 2 times 2 times 2. For these ones, you have to show your work. So if you're doing 3 to the 4th power, it's 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. So 3 times itself 4 times. Okay. And then these ones, remember, in our example, what we're going to do is you have to do it with the power of 10. So, and you're going to do it in the expanded notation. Remember, you're going to count the zeros in order to figure out what power of 10 that you're going to use. Okay, count the zeros, except for letter G. It's kind of tricky because that's a decimal, not a comma. All right, and that's how you find that out. Okay, and that's it. Hopefully you guys have a great night, and remember, if you have questions, which I'm sure you will, bring them to class tomorrow. Have a nice day.